Self-forgiveness is like cleaning out a closet you've ignored for years. It's about facing what's inside, understanding it, and then letting it go. It's key to your mental health and personal growth. And guess what? By the end of this video, I'll share a bonus tip that'll make the journey of self-forgiveness much easier. So stick around. It's going to be an enlightening ride. 1. The importance of self-forgiveness. So what's the big deal about self-forgiveness, you might ask? Well, it's all about giving yourself a break, really. Imagine holding a grudge against someone else for years. Exhausting, right? Now think about how it feels when that someone is actually you. That's what happens when we don't forgive ourselves. It's like carrying around a backpack full of bricks everywhere we go. It weighs us down, makes us tired, and honestly, it just sucks the joy out of life. Here's the thing. We all mess up. Missed deadlines, broken promises, the works. But beating yourself up about it forever? That's where we go wrong. Self-forgiveness is the first step in getting rid of that heavy backpack. It's saying, hey, I messed up, but I'm not going to let it define me. It's about learning from what happened and moving forward, not staying stuck in the past. But I get it. It's not as easy as just saying, I forgive myself, and moving on. There's a bit more to it, which is why it's so tough for many of us. It challenges us to look inward, confront our mistakes, and accept that we're human. And that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It's normal. Think of self-forgiveness as a muscle. The more you work it out, the stronger it gets. And just like any workout, it starts with small steps. 2. Self-accountability versus self-compassion. Now, let's chat about walking that fine line between owning our actions and being kind to ourselves. It's like balancing on a tightrope. On one side, there's self-accountability, where you own up to what you've done. It's about saying, yep, that was on me. But here's the thing, it doesn't mean you have to beat yourself up over it. That's where the other side of the rope comes in. Self-compassion. Think about how you talk to a good friend when they've messed up. You're kind, understanding, but you also don't let them off the hook easy, right? That's the sweet spot we're aiming for with ourselves. It's acknowledging, I made a mistake, without adding, and I'm a terrible person for it. Self-accountability without self-compassion is like eating a sandwich with no filling. It's dry and pretty unsatisfying. But throw in a little kindness, understanding, and forgiveness, and you've got yourself a sandwich worth eating. It's about understanding that making mistakes is part of being human. We all do it. The real growth comes from recognizing these mistakes and learning from them, not from punishing ourselves. Remember, being hard on yourself won't change the past, but it can definitely ruin the present and cloud the future. It's about finding that balance. Be honest about your mistakes, but also be your own cheerleader. Encourage yourself, learn, and move forward. That's how we grow, that's how we improve, and that's how we find that inner peace we're all looking for. 3. Steps towards self-forgiveness. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do we actually start forgiving ourselves? It sounds like a tall order, but stick with me. Think about baking a cake. There's a recipe, right? Well, self-forgiveness has its own kind of recipe, and I promise, it's simpler than it sounds. First step, acknowledge what happened. Just like admitting to yourself that maybe you did forget to add sugar to that cake. It didn't turn out how you wanted, and that's okay. Facing up to what went wrong is like opening the door instead of slamming it shut. Next up, feel what you need to feel. Anger, sadness, disappointment. It's all valid. Imagine these feelings are clouds passing in the sky. They're just moving through, not setting up shop. Letting yourself feel these emotions is a step towards letting them go. Now, here comes the part we often skip. Learning from the mistake. Ask yourself, what can I take away from this? It's like figuring out you need to double-check the recipe next time. Every mistake has a lesson. Sometimes we just need to look a little closer. Lastly, let it go. This is the big one. Imagine holding a balloon filled with all your regrets and just letting it float away. Sounds freeing, right? That's what self-forgiveness feels like. It doesn't mean forgetting what happened, but it means not letting it hold you back anymore. Are you finding this talk on self-forgiveness helpful? Hit that like button and let me know in the comments how you're navigating your own journey. Sharing is caring, and your story could be the sign someone else needs to start forgiving themselves too. 4. Challenges in the journey of self-forgiveness. Now, let's talk roadblocks. Imagine you're driving to your favorite place, but the road is full of potholes. Annoying, right? The journey to self-forgiveness is kind of like that. It's not always smooth, there are bumps along the way. But just like with any road trip, it's all about how you handle the ride. One big bump is often that nagging voice in your head that keeps reminding you of your mistakes. It's like a GPS that keeps rerouting you to the past. Here's a tip, turn it off. Acknowledge the voice, but don't let it dictate your journey. Remember, you're in the driver's seat. Another challenge is the fear of forgiving yourself. Yes, it sounds odd, but it's real. Sometimes we think if we forgive ourselves, we're saying what we did was okay. But that's not it at all. Forgiving yourself isn't about excusing your actions, but freeing yourself from them. It's giving yourself permission to move forward. Then there's friends, family, society. Sometimes they have their own ideas about our mistakes and forgiveness. It's like backseat drivers telling you where to go. Appreciate their input, but remember, this journey is yours. You define your path and your healing. Lastly, impatience can be a roadblock. Healing takes time. You wouldn't expect a broken bone to mend overnight, right? Same goes for your heart and your mind. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate the small victories along the way. So, next time you hit a bump on this journey, take a deep breath, adjust your mirrors, and keep driving. The road to self-forgiveness might be bumpy, but it is most definitely worth it. 5. The power of support systems. Talking about support systems, think of them like your personal cheer squad. You know, the folks who are there with pom-poms cheering you on, whether you're scoring touchdowns or just trying to get through the day. They're crucial when you're working on forgiving yourself. Support can come from anywhere. Friends, family, a counselor, or even a pet. Yes, pets count too. They're the ones who listen without judgment, offer a shoulder to cry on, or just hang out with you when you feel like you can't face the world. These support systems remind us that we're not alone, even when we're dealing with our inner demons. Sometimes just talking things out can make a huge difference. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly everything's not so scary anymore. Sharing your feelings and experiences with someone you trust can help you see things from a different perspective. It's like, hey, maybe things aren't as bad as I thought. So go ahead. Lean on your support system. Let them be your strength when you're feeling low, and be there when it's time for you to be part of someone else's cheer squad. 6. Life beyond self-forgiveness. So what happens after you start forgiving yourself? It's like the sun coming out after a long, gloomy winter. Things seem brighter, lighter. You start seeing opportunities instead of just obstacles. That's the beauty of self-forgiveness. It doesn't just change how you view the past, it transforms your present and future too. Forgiving yourself sets you free from the chains of your own judgment. Suddenly, you're not stuck replaying those old mistakes in your head. You're out there living, trying new things, and yes, making new mistakes. But this time, you handle them differently. You're kinder to yourself, more understanding. It's like learning to ride a bike without training wheels. Sure, you might fall, but now you know how to get back up. This newfound self-kindness opens doors you didn't even know were closed. Relationships improve because you're not lugging around that baggage of self-blame. Your work gets better because you're not paralyzed by the fear of making mistakes. You start doing things for the joy of it, not because you're trying to prove something or make up for the past. And the more you forgive yourself, the easier it becomes to forgive others. It's a ripple effect. Your relationships become more authentic because you understand that everyone's doing their best, just like you are. Life beyond self-forgiveness is about being real, being human, and fully embracing that humanity. It's about trading in that old, heavy backpack of guilt for a lighter one filled with lessons, experiences, and a whole lot of self-love. All right, before we wrap up, I've got a special trick for you to keep self-forgiveness front and center in your daily life. Think of it as your secret weapon in the battle against self-doubt. Make self-forgiveness a daily habit. Just like brushing your teeth or scrolling through your phone first thing in the morning. Start your day by telling yourself something positive. It could be, I'm doing my best, or today, I choose to let go of past mistakes. It sounds simple, but these little affirmations can set the tone for your whole day. And hey, why not end your day on the same note? Before you hit the hay, think of one thing you did well that day, or one thing you're proud of. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe you made someone smile or you chose a salad over fries. Celebrate the small wins. Remember, the goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be kinder to yourself. By making self-forgiveness part of your daily routine, you're building a foundation of self-love and respect. And from there, my friend, the sky's the limit. So give it a shot. What have you got to lose, except guilt and self-criticism? Up next, learn how to stop negative self-talk, or get tips on setting healthy boundaries. This advice can help you discover the very best version of yourself, so don't hesitate. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to the channel.